Started, I am going to give a brief introduction as to what this presentation is about. I am a Gallup certified strengths coach, and you all are my sales team, and I need you to go out and sell me so that, or the product of the Clifton Strengths Finder assessment, so that I can do debriefs with my clients and increase my sales. So my presentation today will be going through my presentation that I utilized to show you what you can do as you're going along in selling this product for me, right? We're going to go through an exercise. So I will go ahead and get started now. Thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate your time and the fact that you are here to support me and our endeavor in growing this company. As you go out and sell strengths, the best thing to do, I have found, is to begin your presentation with something that's going to grab their attention. And as you go along through the presentation, I would really like for you to utilize the support slides that will keep their interest and show them how important this is. We're going to start off with a quick exercise to demonstrate how working on strengths versus working on our weaknesses can be different for us and help us to grow. And then I'm going to share a little bit about my own personal story, but I want you to change the format so that you'll be talking about yourself and what the Strengths Finder has done for you. And then we're going to back it up with just a little bit of research with Gallup and wrap it up. And that's how I would like for you to give your presentations. So with that, let's get started. How many here want to feel more powerful every day? And if I could show you how to feel more powerful, more strong, and more capable with just 5 words, who would be interested in continuing? Excellent. 5 words. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with this quick exercise. And what you need to do is with that pad and paper that I've given you, I want you to take your pen and get ready to write. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to time you all to see how long it takes you to get this done. All right, just give me one moment to get my timer started. Oh, one other thing, before we get started, take the pen in your dominant hand, put it in your non-dominant hand. All right, so we have it in our non-dominant hand. We're going to write, I use my strengths every day, twice. And the first person to finish it, raise their hand. On your mark, get set, go. All right, we have a winner at 44.64 seconds to write 2 phrases. And as Tammy noted, she can't even read hers. So this is a demonstration of something that is a weakness for us. It's not natural, it's awkward. What was the first thing you thought of when I said, oh wait, we're going to use our non-dominant hands?
Well, I can't say that.
It was so bad that you can't even utter it in mixed company.
Boy.
All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take that pen in our dominant hand and we're going to go through the same exercise one time. And let's see if we can't beat 44.5 seconds. All right, 2 phrases. On your mark, get set, go. Not even 15 seconds. So 3 times faster.
Spanish.
Yeah.
It blends tenses. I'm just kidding.
So this is just a quick demonstration of how, when you're selling to my clients, how important it is to focus on your strengths, something that is natural, an ability that you don't even have to think of. I noticed that when you were writing it the first time, you were all looking back up, okay, now what is that word? So almost word by word, you were having to go and look at it. But the second time, you were able to just probably write that sentence without even thinking about it, because it's natural. And that's what focusing on your strengths is all about. So this is a sobering subject. And this is where strengths in the workplace is going to be so valuable to our clients and our companies. Only 13% of employees across the world are engaged in work. That means that they're going to work, they're generally happy, they're capable and eager and engaged and wanting to work there, wanting to be with the people they're with, and truly enjoying that experience. Worldwide, 24% people are actively disengaged. And what is that? More than, or almost twice as many people are working against the company. They're working against you as a coworker. Sometimes they are actively sabotaging the work that is being done in the company because they are so unhappy with their work. Potentially hostile to the organization. Do you want those people working there? Or do you want the 13% who are engaged and are happy to be there? In the United States, we're a little bit better. About 30% of employees are engaged. But that means 70% of us are at best just punching a clock, getting through the day, and collecting a paycheck. They're not going above and beyond. Some of them might even be going against the company, but for the most part, we're doing okay in this country. How many of this room have ever been part of the 70%?
That's the point of sabotage.
Or worse, part of the 24%. And that's where I was about the time that I took the StrengthsFinder assessment myself. I went to work angry most of the time. I never sabotaged anything, but I would say probably a good third of my time was spent on the internet, goofing off, searching for things, not doing my work. I don't work there anymore, it's okay. But I would find time to go out and meet people, communicate. And so I was at least able to do some of the things that I enjoyed personally during my downtime. So, communication. This is one of my top 5. What it means is that I have the capacity, except for when I was trying to say 13% earlier, to speak fairly eloquently, get my point across with relatively few words, and people are understanding what I'm trying to say. Adaptability. People who are adaptable are able to come into a situation, oftentimes without having any foreknowledge of what's happening, and being able to find a way to connect and get things moving and moving forward. Woo. This is my favorite of my strengths. Woo is not woohoo, although I do kind of get that way from time to time. I really connect with people very easily. As an example of this, when I was in Chicago going through my Gallup's training, I told everyone in the room when we were introducing ourselves, the majority of the people in this room are going to tell me things that they have never told anyone else in the world. And probably 13 out of the 45 people who were there said, oh my gosh, I've never told you this. I told you. I told you there would be people that would tell me things that they've never told anyone else. I also got 2 clients in a 3-minute cab ride by just chit-chatting. That's my woo. It's probably my superpower. Responsibility. This is one that is sort of a double-edged sword. It gets me through the day. It gets me in a place where I'm able to accomplish things. It also gets me into trouble because when I see someone in need, someone that I care about, I say yes. I say yes far too often, and I find myself overwhelmed because I've got so much on my plate. And finally, developer. This is another one of my favorites. I want you to be your best. And if I can help you be your best, then that means that I'm at my best. And if we're all working and doing our best, how successful are we going to be as an organization? So these 5 words made a lasting impression. They literally changed the course of my life. I was in grad school. I knew that I needed at least a master's degree because I worked at a university. If I intended to go up, I needed to have more than just a bachelor's degree. In my team building course, we took the StrengthsFinder assessment. And as soon as I had my 5 words, I started studying those, trying to figure out how do they relate? What can I do to be my best on a day in, day out basis, utilizing the things that come naturally to me? And I found coaching. I'm now a certified executive coach, and I'm trying to venture out on that. Also, because I had so much faith in what this did for me, I'm also a Gallup certified strengths coach. What lies behind us and what lies before us are just tiny matters compared to that which lies within us. So the important thing about using quotes from other people, it's oftentimes they will come up with things that are a little bit more inspiring than what we can give, but it also lends credibility to the work that we're doing. So try to find quotes that mean something to you in your presentations that can help sell you as well as the team. So as I said, working through our strengths and learning about our talents, we can be 3 times as likely to have a quality life and 6 times as likely to be more engaged at work. So we're starting to pull the people out of the 24% because we've started to develop them and helping them to understand themselves a little bit better and how they interact with one another on the team. And then to start to build synergy. And then as they're progressing through, maybe they're getting into the top half. Maybe we'll get in the top 30%, we'll be right there with what America is doing in general. But maybe we could even make it into that top 13% worldwide because we're being strong as ourselves, but also being strong as part of a team and helping each other because we're filling in those gaps that might exist with other teammates. We're going to look forward to going to work more often. We're going to be happier. We're going to treat our customers better. We're going to treat our friends and family. One of the things, I have recently changed positions at my company. People that barely knew me, but knew my wife, who also works there, would come up to her and say, "Hey, Amy, what's up with Steve? He's so happy. He's a different person." And then she'll tell me these things, and I'm going, how did they even know me? What kind of a monster was I? But because I am now in a position at work that is utilizing my woo and my communication, I am getting to meet people across the university and other universities, and it is so exciting to me. I'm having a good time for the first time in almost 15 years at work. So we're going to go through this real quickly. We don't really have to do this, but this is another fun exercise that you can utilize in your presentation. So stand up if you always talk to people in elevators, airplanes, grocery stores, and wherever you go.
Always?
Always. Well, I'm going to stand up because that's me as well. You might be a woo. Okay, have a seat. If you have a color-coded or otherwise organized closet,
I'm not surprised.
so that is a talent that we're all going to be able to utilize very well because these people are very organized. They're going to be able to help me, adaptability, who is completely scatterbrained, get things and get them done in a timely, efficient way. Go ahead and have a seat. Write down a list of things and stick to it.
Oh, come on.
I'm her son and I don't do it, so.
That's the one thing you didn't get.
I have tried doing this, but I lose my list. All right, okay, make a list of things to do on the weekend. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with you people? On the weekends? The weekends is a time for fun.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I want to get it all in.
yeah, well, this,
There's not enough time in the weekend to get everything in, so you've got to kind of plan it out. If you want to do everything.
but maybe you don't need to do everything. All right, what do you order while you're driving?
Come on, Russell.
I have driven on the freeway 125 miles an hour.
I beat you there.
Done what?
I've driven my car 125 miles an hour.
May I not be on the freeway with you?
May not
I was very secluded. I would not have done that if there had been other people around. Okay, who asked too many questions? You ask too many questions. Or what do you get when you ask a lot of questions?
I get people annoyed.
Oh, you get people annoyed.
I ask a lot of questions, but that's because of what I do when I'm a crew. And so for me to be able to play somebody, I have to know a lot about them because I'm representing that person. So, and I carry that into many areas of my life.
Mhm.
You know, it just transfers. But
So-
sometimes people get annoyed because I don't do it in an obnoxious way, but I think people, sometimes they get annoyed, but sometimes they think I'm interested genuinely too, which I am.
Mhm.
It's a fine line though.
Right. So how do you know when you've gone too far?
Have a look on their face.
Look at your face. So maybe if you can figure out when it's just about to sour, then stop. All right, push the elevator button to remind that you're there. I do this, but you know, it doesn't get there any faster. But golly, I've got to have something to do, and this makes me feel like I'm doing something, right? All right, so talent is naturally recurring pattern of thought, feeling, or behavior that can be productively applied. It's effortlessly and instinctively starting conversations, thinking in an orderly and timely manner, being able to easily influence others. Woo! Seeing patterns in data. There we go. I love you because I hate data. Consistently having a positive outlook on life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce, would you stand?
Now, this is just, this is just an example of your talent. So, Rhonda, what does being positive do for you?
It gives me peace.
And what can you do with that piece?
Share that with others.
Yeah.
Get
I've
in
called,
for a lottery instead of dying.
There you go.
Good job.
Which is what
Well,
I use going forward.
I have called you twice in about less than a 24-hour period, and you at least got me calmed down. Yeah, when I was trying to get here, and I'm going, oh my gosh, you've got to make me speaker number. Actually, I said, I've got to do number 2, and she's going, number 2? I said, second speaker, I got to be second speaker. All right, so 7.8% greater productivity, 9% greater productivity in teams, right? You've got individuals are 8%, teams are 9% more effective. So Don Clifton is the founder of the Clifton Strengths Assessment. So when we start with a talent and we work on it, it becomes a strength. And it's something that we are just moving on, not even realizing things are happening. Oh, okay, there we go. We're just going to, so So these are just the 4 domains of strength, and it's not something that you'll need to go into great depth with. But if you notice mine, I am communication, that is over here in influencing, and then I am adaptable, that's relationship building, and then we're gonna go back to influencing for woo, and then go all the way over to executing for responsibility, and then come back to developer, where is it? Relationship building. So of my top 5, 2 are relationship building and 2 are influencing. When I go into my top 10, 80% of who I am and what I do is build relationships and influence people. And the downside to all of that for me is something that I have recognized, and now I'm working on it, but I am naturally manipulative. It's not one of my prouder things, but it's important to understand. But in what my friend was telling me, he goes, no, you're an influencer. I said, but sometimes I catch myself because I'm getting too much for myself out of the deal. I have people giving me things. We were in a restaurant one night, and I said, oh, tonight's half price night. When they were checking us out, he says, oh, sure, what the heck. Gave us our meal for 50% off, for just me asking. But it was easy for me. How many of you could feel comfortable in asking that question? You should try it sometime. You might get 50% off your meal. Alrighty. So that is the crux of our information. And I know there was something in here. Why it didn't, I knew what was missing. But it's not dead. Nah. I know what was missing. So one of the things that Dr. Clifton did to really hammer it home the benefit of focusing on your strengths and working on your strengths rather than trying to fix those weaknesses was a study that he did with a group of people who were labeled as either avid readers or non-readers. What he did with these people is he gave them a reading test, a speed reading test, and then he taught them all together how to improve their speed reading scores. So what they found when they initially tested the readers versus the non-readers, the readers were at 150 words per minute. Pretty respectable. The non-readers were at about 75 words a minute. Still not so bad. I mean, it's clearly able to get through it, right? But after the speed reading test, that's where the miracle occurred. How fast do you think the non-readers read?
125 words.
125 words. Anyone else?
After
the test, after the 125. Anyone else? They were able to rocket to 150 words a minute. So they were able to double their score from the speed reading class. What do you think about the readers? Let's venture a guess on how they did. About 150, so they didn't increase at all.
No, if they were at 100, they were.
So they were at 150. They started at
already
150.
I'm gonna say 150, they didn't increase at all.
So no increase, 175. Anyone else have
No, I
any?
think they increased to 250 or 300
No,
300.
as well.
No.
they increased, but not as much as you would think.
The readers, after taking the speed reading test, amazingly, 2,900 words a minute.
29.
And that's even 2,900, and that's with comprehension.
10 times more.
10 times more, because it's something that they were naturally good at. So this is how you're going to really sell at home, is by telling people that when you focus on those things that you're already just naturally good at, it's going to be a strength that you're going to be able to utilize, and you'll get to the point where you're utilizing it and not even realizing you're doing it. So I want you to get out there, and I want you to encourage our clients to take the Clifton Strengths Assessment and have me sit down with them and be their coach. Are there any questions before we wrap up?
offer the strengths testing?
I do.
Is that different from what, if I went to the bookstore and bought the Strengths Finder book?
So if the assessment is the same, you'll pay the same price for the assessment. But to have a debrief with me, there's an additional charge.
What does the debrief entail?
It helps you to better understand your strengths. What we'll do is you'll have your report, and we would go through each one of those in greater detail and help you work through a way to utilize those and recognize when you utilize something. And when you start to recognize when you're utilizing a strength, that's when you can start to focus on how to improve it. And then when you're consciously working to improve your strengths, then you've got when you're working on your talent, that's what you can develop it into a strength. Yes.
Steve, I sometimes get candidates coming into me that are recent college graduates that will say, you know, my dad wanted me to be an engineer, and I went to A&M, I'm an engineer, but I really don't want to do this. And I think to and they say, you know, where can I go to take a strengths assessment or some kind of assessment test to see where my experience or my interests really lie? Can I send them to you?
Absolutely.
Okay, we need to,
Mhm.
because I do get people like that.
Right.
And, you know, I try to help them, you know, assess and, you know, give them certain things I've written and help them understand that I think an actual test, and I have a section in the book I've written
Mhm.
about assessment tests, are definitely very, very useful.
Mhm.
So it probably would be something, a resource for me to have
Mhm.
that would benefit them.
I would appreciate that. Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for your attention, and I look forward to working with you in the future.